everybody, video blog time yet again. This is a question I regularly get asked. Is it a good idea to cycle in a wetsuit? Well, the obvious answer to that is probably not. It's probably not a good idea. Mainly because wetsuits are designed for like surfing, swimming in, stand-up board and you name it, but they're not really designed for cycling in. But, of course, it's good fun doing it. And that goes to why do I enjoy doing it? Well, mainly because on a day like today it's quite cold. And normally you'd end up having to put bib tights on and then probably other sorts of top of that, and then you'd have 2 or 3 layers on up here. If you're in a wetsuit, you don't have any of that, you just put the wetsuit on and then you just put a layer over this to get the mud off myself, and then another layer on, and that's all I have to do. And of course during the winter you end up having to put more layers on, but even then it cuts down the amount of layers. Of course, as I said, the only thing about badminton cycling in a wetsuit is they're not really designed for it, so you've got to be extra careful that you don't rip them. But any damage you've generally had into a wetsuit, I've not actually ever done any damage while cycling, it's getting them on and off when wetsuits are the most delicate. The only thing you got to watch with a wetsuit is, one, if you need the toilet, it's a pain in the arse, but then you've got to take the wetsuit down to get to the toilet. And if you've ever worn a wetsuit, when it gets wet and soggy inside, trying to get the wetsuit back on again, it's not the easiest, and then you've got all that hassle to go off as well. Since you do get quite sweaty, when you go to the wetsuit off, you get cold. The second you take it off, the sweat just gets cold. Pardon me. So yeah, that's good fun cycling wetsuit. But then you've got to also watch that you drink an awful lot. But even a day like today where it's about 9-10 degrees, you do sweat an awful lot. So if it went above 10 degrees or 12 degrees, I wouldn't recommend cycling in a wetsuit, because the sweat would be absolutely pissing off of you. So you've also got to make sure that you do drink a lot, and also when you sweat, you lose lots of salt. So again, you've got to make sure you get all that back inside of you again. You probably do get some funny looks when you're in a wetsuit, but most people will just think you've got tights on when you've got this on, to be quite honest. I think you'd only notice I've got a wetsuit on if you wear wetsuits yourself, or if you're into wetsuits. Then you might notice I'm wearing a wetsuit, but other than that, I don't think it's that obvious. And to be honest, I don't actually care, because as they say, you only live once, so you may as well do things that you enjoy if you're not hurting anybody. What is the harm in doing it? But I do think I look good in a wetsuit. Some people say I don't, but I think I do. That's basically what I wanted to say, cycling in a wetsuit. And if you never tried cycling in a wetsuit, I do highly recommend you give it a go. Especially in a day when it pisses it down, because everybody else is thinking, oh, you're getting really wet and cold, but actually you've got a wetsuit on, you're nice and warm. So people are like, you're mad, but actually when you've got a wetsuit on, you're a nice temperature and everything else. And also you've got a wetsuit on, if you've got cycling gear on, lycra and stuff, if you get covered in mud, it's a pain in the ass to wash them, or if it's like really bad mud, you can end up getting stains on it. Because you've got a wetsuit on, all you have to do is jump in the summer wearing it, which you don't often do. All the options is basically get a damp cloth and wipe it all over, or the other option is basically get a cold hose and hose it down, or throw it in the bath or somewhere. All these options you got to do to get it nice and clean. Anyway, I'm rabbiting on now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do comment, subscribe, and all the other stuff I tell you to do, because I do love reading your comments. I don't often get back to them, but some comments to read them like, why are you posting that? But I do, it does make me laugh reading them all, so do comment. Even if it's just to say nice arse, which I get quite a lot. Anyway, I'm just now winding everybody up, so I'm going to get going now. And I'll speak to you all when I do another video blog. Subscribe.